For over 35 years, I've been called everything you can imagine, at least professionally on the radio and in this particular medium, whatever the hell this is. And conspiracy theorist, gun nut, right winger, liberal, anarchist, name it, normally from people who don't understand. And whenever somebody called me a name, it was always something that I later said, that's a good thing. Because nobody ever calls you a name for being boring. It's always you're an extremist, you're crazy, or you're scaring them. And for the longest time, I've been wondering, why is it that a person who prepares for doom, not who waits for it every day, hiding paranoid in his shelter, but is prepared in the event something cataclysmic happens? They're called a prepper. They're called crazy. Black Hawk helicopter, tinfoil hat lunatics, people who had, ammunition and guns, people who were prepared, who had generators. They were called crazy. Who's crazy now? Who's crazy now? Who's acting like who is nuts? I'm from Florida, not Florida. That's where you visit. I'm from Florida. I mean, we're talking redneck and goat ropers and coral snakes and diamondback rattlesnakes and moccasins and possums and gators and stuff you've never seen before. And I was raised in the world of hurricanes and every kind of inclement weather you can imagine. And nobody who prepared for power going out was called a prepper or a lunatic or a prepper lunatic. That's why this makes the most sense. Preparewithlionel.com. This is something that I whenever something new comes, whether it's crypto, whether somebody who deals in gold, whether anything that's new, you've got this contingent of these idiots who always think you're a conspiracy theorist. Right now, as we speak, as I'm recording this in my native Florida, there's about 300,000 people without power. And it's going to get worse. And when tides rise, there's snakes. Do you know the snakes they have? Do you know how many times I've heard rattlesnakes? We have a thing just a little bit north of Tampa, a place called San Antonio, right around Dade City. They have the rattlesnake roundup every year. They've got places like called Sop Choppy. I mean, are you kidding me? Gators and, oh my God, water moccasins, pit vipers. These are the nastiest thing. And what do you need for that? Guns with ammunition. No, but people I grew up with said, well, of course you've got guns. Well, you got to have ammunition, right? Well, what if you run out? And prepared food? Right now, there's a 3-month emergency food kit. Right now, look at this. Look at everything that's there. And I'm telling you, you have no idea. People have been asking me from my native Florida, can you send me that preparewithlionel.com? Can you send me this link? It's not fun and games anymore. It's not fun and games because there's these other problems. Listen to me, not only do you have problems with water and with surges and everything else, and no stores and no nothing, but then you get the looters, and then you get people who realize now's the chance for them to come in and take advantage of this. Take advantage of people who are maybe not at home. Maybe you've had to leave. Do you have, I ask people this, do you have what's it called, a bug out bag? Or if you had to take off, if you had, do you have a water purifier? Let's just assume your water worked, but you weren't sure about whether it was clean or not. Preparewithlionel.com. What if your stores are closed for a month? A month. This is 2,000 calories a day. For 90 days, 3 months. This is the most incredible thing in the world. This is 120 pounds of food. And we're not talking, banana chips and prunes. That's an interesting thing. What happens when people during horrid events? I know here in New York, whenever there's any kind of snow, they always buy milk and bread. I what do you make? French toast? I have no idea why. Milk and bread. Preppers are not crazy. Preppers are smart. Preppers are smart. Preppers are absolutely, they make so much sense. Think about this. This is the most incredible. Preppers preparing, being ready for this, being ready to handle life's. Look at this. Prepping is an abbreviation of preparing. It entails individuals or groups taking proactive steps to ready themselves for potential emergencies, disasters, or unforeseen disruptions to daily life. Preppers concentrate on honing skills, amassing provisions, and devising strategies to ensure safety, well being, and survival amid diverse scenarios ranging from natural calamities and power failures to economic downturns and societal turmoil. I'm in New York City now. I've seen societal turmoil. I am not the same person I was before. I've always been somebody. I've always been somebody who believed in this notion of preparation. I've always been somebody who believed in this, who believed in the notion of being able to protect myself. I was around in Florida when we were the first state in the nation to have carry permits. I remember this. The Jack Hagler Self-Defense Act. People say, what do you need that for? Do you know what happened immediately after people had carry weapons, concealed firearm permits? You know what happened? I was a prosecutor and defense lawyer at the time, and we had a big problem with ATM folks being robbed. People go to an ATM in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden there's a robbery there. Guess what? Those went away. You know what else happened? Listen to this. Residential burglaries plummeted. Why? Because people realized, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to go to people's homes. I don't know who has what. We had in the state of Florida in around 1988 or 89, 79005, the manual possession statute was inadvertently repealed. And to make a long story short, people could walk around with 6-shooters and guns and pistols on their hips in holsters. And you know what they did? People who had 7-Elevens and bodegas and people all night, they said, come on in, free coffee. And all of a sudden, people who had these beautiful handguns and tooled holsters would meet while they figured out this little glitch in the statute. They eventually, corrected it. But there was a time, I don't know, about a week or so when people would walk around like Dodge City. And they would go to 7-Elevens in different places and they would drink coffee. No robberies. Who the hell's going to rob a place with a bunch of people standing around with guns? They didn't rob anybody. They didn't hurt anybody. With all these guns and all of these weapons and all of these people walking around open carry, nobody said, you know what? I'm going to start robbing now. I wasn't going to do it before, but now that I can carry my firearm in the open, because this goes to show you, people forget the reality of how things happen. Let me ask you something. As I watch in absolute horror, Lionel merch, by the way, as I watch in horror, my home state, and I see the way these media people just love to scare you. They love to scare you. They love to show you. Look at this. Look at the wind, and because they're always trying to work in their Emmy reel. I'm looking at this right now. I'm thinking to myself, do you know what happens if all of a sudden there is a glitch? All of a sudden there's a supply chain problem. Remember that in the port of LA, all of a sudden these containers couldn't deliver? Or you had contaminated fuel, which I've never heard about in my life, contaminated fuel all of a sudden. Remember that? In Florida, known as Florida, they had Diesel was mixed with regular fuel, and people didn't want to use it because it would ruin your engine. It would destroy everything. During COVID, I keep saying this, they had runs on toilet paper. That's an interesting pun. When runs weren't in any part of COVID, no GI distress, but toilet paper you couldn't keep on the shelves. If there's the slightest problem, if there's a truck, let's say there's another strike, let's say, who knows? The people who say, oh, I've got food, I've got 90 days of food, I've got weapons and ammunition in case marauding looters decide to pick this house as the biggest mistake of their life. I've got the ability to purify water. I've got a generator. I've got things. This is not, believe me, growing up, and by the way, I knew I'm not a hunter, but many of my friends are. And Florida, as people forget, is very, very, very woodsy. And remember, it's got the Everglades in the south. And right around the Panhandle, that's southern Alabama, southern Georgia. This is not the story. And in the middle, around Ocala, you would think you're in Kentucky and horse country. Not only that, there's this. I mean, it is everything you can imagine in one state, and hot, like you cannot believe. So I was raised with that. Well, nobody's laughing at preppers now. Nobody. You look at these poor people and look at Lahaina. You think this administration gives a damn about you? If you find yourself in the position where you say, hey, Joe Biden, we don't have any food here. Yeah, that's tough. Hey, you know why? I almost lost a cat one time in a kitchen fire. Oh, and the empathy, the sympathy, the feeling this man has. It's disgusting. Preparewithlionel.com. $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit. And I'm sorry, but in some cases, it's too late for people in Florida. But something else is going to be coming. I don't know what. I have no idea what it's going to be. Some weird surge. Who knows? Tsunamis, cyclones, nor'easters, sou'westers, whatever the other version of this is. Here in New York, we had skies that were orange because of fires in Canada. And they never follow up. They never come back later on and say, oh, by the way, you remember the Canadian? Yeah. Well, here's what happened. Then we heard about what? Washington State fires. Then before the Northern California fires. What's that about? And there's different theories as to whether this was done deliberately, whatever. I'll let other people talk about that. Lahaina, how about shrouded, covered, no drones, nobody fly over, go away. Don't see what's happening. Don't report. Be quiet. Just move along. No wonder people think about this. No wonder people get paranoid. No wonder people get conspiratorial. No wonder. And everybody that I know, especially old timers, of which I think I guess I'm a part of the old timer group. We're saying we've never seen weather like this. We've never seen weather. We've never seen weather. You know that when I was a kid, we didn't have air conditioning. We were in Florida, and the hottest part, we had a fan. We didn't even have an air conditioner. I don't remember being inside a home. Fans were wonderful. Now you couldn't live without an air conditioner. People die. It's hotter. Don't give me that climate change business. I'm not talking about that. Oh, no. We're not going to, we'll talk about that later on. I want you to listen to me, and you listen good. Right now, don't you ever laugh at a prepper again. Don't you ever laugh. Maybe you didn't. Don't you ever laugh at somebody who is preparing for a disaster. And right now is the time. Listen to what I'm saying. Check this out. Preparewithlionel.com. There is the link. I've got the link on the comment section. I got the link on the description, and the link right here. Preparewithlionel.com. And My Patriot Supplies, they are simply the best. All right? All right. Be careful. Watch out for yourself and your family. You never have to apologize for anybody for being prepared and being anticipatory. Okay? Now do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment as you see fit.